The Avocado's Chronicle, a time-lapse journey from pit to prolific tree. Avocado emoji. Avocado trees, with their glossy leaves and creamy fruit, have a captivating story to tell. It's a tale of patience, growth, and unexpected challenges. This is a chronicle of a single avocado tree's life. A time-lapse journey told from the hands-on perspective of a gardener. Interwoven with everything you need to know to grow your own. Month 1, the promise of a pit. My journey began not with a sapling, but with a humble avocado pit from a grocery store bought fruit. I'd heard the old tales of the toothpick and water method. So I retrieved a beautiful, creamy brown pit, washed it clean, and with a mix of hope and skepticism, poked 3 toothpicks into its sides. I suspended it over a glass of water, ensuring only the bottom half was submerged. It sat on my windowsill. A little botanical experiment. A silent promise of future fruit. Every few days, I'd top up the water. Watching. Waiting. The days turned into weeks. The gardener's manual, getting started. Growing an avocado tree from a pit is a classic, rewarding project. Though it's important to know that a tree grown this way may take many years to fruit, if at all. And the fruit may not be the same as the parent. For a more reliable outcome, consider a grafted tree from a nursery. However, the pit method is a fantastic way to learn about the plant's life cycle. Pit preparation: gently remove the pit, being careful not to cut or damage it. Wash off any remaining fruit. Identify the broad, flat bottom, where roots will emerge, and the slightly pointed top. The toothpick method: push 3 toothpicks into the pit at a slight downward angle, spaced evenly around the middle. This creates a tripod to rest the pit on the rim of a glass or jar. Fill with water until the bottom inch of the pit is submerged. Place in a warm, sunny spot. Change the water every few days to prevent mold and bacteria. The paper towel method: a faster, more reliable alternative is to wrap the peeled pit in a damp paper towel. Place it inside a sealed plastic bag and keep it in a warm, dark place. Check on it weekly, re-moistening the towel as needed. Once a root appears, around 1 inch long, transfer it to a glass of water to continue growing. Patience is key. Germination can take anywhere from a few weeks to several months. The pit will eventually split open, and a taproot will emerge from the bottom, followed by a stem from the top. Year 1, the ascent of a seedling. After about 2 months, my little pit finally cracked, revealing a tiny white root stretching down into the water. A few weeks later, a slender green stem shot up from the top. It was a thrilling sight. I let the stem grow to about 6 inches. Then I did the unthinkable: I cut it in half. A technique called pinching back. This was to encourage it to grow into a bushier, stronger plant. It felt drastic, but soon enough, new leaves sprouted, and the stem thickened. The gardener's manual: transition to soil. Once the stem is about 6 to 8 inches long, it's time to transition the seedling from water to soil. Soil and pot selection: avocado trees are highly susceptible to root rot, so well-draining soil is non-negotiable. A mix of potting soil with added sand or perlite works well. Choose a pot with ample drainage holes. Unglazed terracotta is a great choice as it allows the soil to breathe and dries out faster. Potting up: fill the pot halfway with soil. Gently place the avocado pit in the center, ensuring the roots are not damaged. Backfill with soil, leaving the top half of the pit exposed above the soil line. This is crucial for preventing stem rot. Initial care: water thoroughly after planting until water drains from the bottom. Place the pot in a sunny location, preferably a south-facing window indoors. Maintain a moist but not soggy soil. Year 2 to 3, a tree takes shape. My avocado tree, now happily living in a large pot on my patio, had grown into a respectable young plant. It was about 3 feet tall, with a canopy of deep green, glossy leaves. I continued to prune it lightly to maintain a central leader shape and promote branching. I learned that sunlight was its best friend, and I moved it to the sunniest spot I had. The Gardener's Manual, Ongoing Care and Pruning. Avocado trees are broad-spreading trees with only moderate apical dominance, meaning they need help to grow tall rather than wide. Early training is key to a manageable, productive tree. Watering, water deeply and infrequently. Allow the top 1 to 2 inches of soil to dry out between waterings. Overwatering is the #1 cause of avocado tree death. Fertilization. Young trees, 0 to 4 years, need more frequent feeding. About 3 to 4 times a year. Use a balanced fertilizer, like the 10th of October 2010 or a citrus/avocado specific blend, or organic options like fish emulsion or compost. Mature trees, 5+ years, can be fertilized twice a year. In early spring and late summer. Pruning and shaping. Prune in early spring before the bloom cycle begins. The goal is to remove dead or weak branches. Promote a strong central leader, and allow light and air to penetrate the canopy. For container-grown trees, pruning is essential to keep the size manageable. Do not cut into the main trunk unless rejuvenating an old, unproductive tree. Always protect freshly cut branches from sunburn with a diluted white latex paint mixture. Year 4 to 5, the first blooms and pollination. It was a cold, rainy spring, but something was happening. My tree, now over 6 feet tall, was covered in hundreds of thousands of tiny, greenish-yellow flowers. It was a sight to behold. But I knew the secret: avocado flowers have an unusual pollination system. I'd read about A and B flower types and the need for cross-pollination. My tree was a single variety, an A type. But I hoped a neighbor's tree or a stray bee would help. I watched the bees dance among the blossoms. And though only a tiny fraction of the flowers would ever become fruit, the possibility was exciting. The Gardener's Manual, the pollination puzzle. Avocado trees have a unique flowering behavior called synchronous dichogamy. Each individual flower opens twice, once as a female and once as a male. A-type flowers open as female in the morning of the first day, close for the night, and reopen as male on the afternoon of the second day. B-type flowers open as female in the afternoon of the first day, close for the night, and reopen as male on the morning of the second day. This separation of male and female phases prevents a single tree from pollinating itself effectively, although some varieties are considered self-fertile. For optimal fruit production, it's highly recommended to plant one of each type, A and B, to ensure pollen is available when flowers are in their female phase. Common varieties: Gwen, Reed. Common bee varieties: Bacon, Fueta, Surprise, Zutano. The pollinators. Pollination is primarily done by insects, especially honeybees. Year 6, a harvest of gold. The first year I saw fruit, I was ecstatic. After the tiny fruitlets appeared, there was a period of June drop where many fell off the tree. A natural process to manage the fruit load. But a handful of tiny, green avocados remained. I watched them swell and grow over the months. I learned that unlike most fruits, avocados do not ripen on the tree. They must be picked and allowed to ripen indoors. I picked my first fruit, and after a week on the counter, it was perfectly soft and ready. The taste of that first homegrown avocado was pure gold. The Gardener's Manual, Fruiting and Harvest. First fruit: a tree grown from a pit can take 5 to 15 years to produce fruit. Grafted trees will typically fruit in 3 to 4 years. Fruit set: avocado trees can produce over 1 million flowers, but only a small percentage will ever set fruit. This is normal. Harvesting: avocados must be picked and ripened off the tree. Test for ripeness by gently shaking the fruit. If you can feel or hear the seed moving inside, it's ready to be picked. Fruit left on the tree will continue to grow but will not ripen. A comprehensive look at the avocado tree. The avocado tree, Persea americana, is a marvel of the plant world. Its history dates back to ancient times. A botanical relic that evolved alongside the Pleistocene megafauna. These giant herbivores, like the ground sloth and gompot hares, would consume the entire fruit and disperse the large seed in their droppings. Without these animals, the avocado fruit would simply drop to the ground and decay under the parent tree's shade, unable to germinate. Today, humans have become the primary dispersers. But it's a fascinating glimpse into the tree's evolutionary history. Common avocado tree comparisons. Hash versus other varieties. Hash is the most popular worldwide, making up over 80% of the market. Its appeal lies in its rich, nutty flavor, creamy texture, and thick, pebbly skin that changes color from green to black when ripe, a natural ripening indicator. Other varieties like bacon, fueta, and Zutano are known for their thinner skins, different flavors, and varying frost tolerances. Indoor versus outdoor. Outdoor trees, given the right climate, USDA zones 9 to 11, can grow up to 80 feet tall and produce significant crops. Indoor trees, on the other hand, are typically grown from a pit and can be pruned to a manageable size. While it's possible for an indoor tree to fruit, it is a rare and difficult feat, requiring significant light, specific humidity, and temperature conditions. Threats to your avocado tree, pests and diseases. Even with the best care, your tree may face some challenges. Here's a breakdown of common issues: pests, avocado thrips, tiny insects that feed on fruit and leaves, causing cosmetic scarring and leathery skin. Mites, cause stippling or spotting on leaves and can lead to premature leaf drop. Borers, tunnel into the tree trunk, leaving visible holes and often causing sap to leak. Diseases, Phytophthora root rot, the most common and devastating disease for avocado trees, caused by a soil-borne fungus. It thrives in waterlogged soil. Symptoms include wilting, yellowing leaves, and dieback. Prevention is the best cure. Ensure excellent drainage. Anthracnose, a fungal disease that causes dark, sunken spots on fruit and leaves. It's more prevalent in warm, humid climates. Sun blotch, a viral disease that is incurable and can cause scarring on the fruit and stunting of the tree. It is typically transmitted by grafting infected wood. The grand finale, a gardener's reflection. My avocado tree is now a fixture of my garden, a towering testament to patience. It has its good years and its bad, and I have learned to appreciate its rhythms. It is not just a plant that gives me fruit, it is a part of my story, a continuous loop of life, death, and regrowth. It is a time-lapse unfolding in real time, and I am grateful to be a part of its chronicle.